Terror Train 2022 edition is today's review. Yeah, I decided to give this a watch. It's, I guess, a Tubi original in conjunction with the Canadian streaming service Crave, which Crave is kind of like the Canadian equivalent to HBO Max, so it has a lot of that kind of stuff. So exclusive to here in Canada, so you can watch it on Crave, which is what I did, or I'm assuming you can watch it for free on Tubi. Not a bad deal. It's a very to the basics kind of remake. Like, it's not something that's going to reinvent the wheel. It is really like the same basic plot, same basic kind of production too. Like, one thing about the original Terror Train is that it was a Canadian production, technically. Lots of filming in Canada. Well, all of it was filmed in Canada, as far as I know, mainly due to like tax breaks. So I guess maybe all of the rights got mixed up in Canadian production. So maybe that's why we didn't quite see, Terror Train make its way into the big remake renaissance of the mid 2000s or so. Maybe that's why. But finally, we have it here. So there's that. That's something to be happy about, I guess. But it really it's not an especially creative remake. It's very much like the original movie, pretty much scene for scene, beat for beat, with like a few changes here and there, I guess. One thing I do notice that they changed was that the movie actually, funnily enough, it takes place on Halloween. So the big party, the big, frat, sorority, medical student bash is actually taking place on Halloween, which is giving us the reason for all the costumes this time around. Instead of, I guess, somewhat inexplicably being a costume party on New Year's, which is what the original 1981 film was doing. So that's a little bit of a change, I guess. I suppose back in the early 80s, coming off the success of Halloween, I don't think they wanted to draw too much attention to the comparisons to the John Carpenter 78 film. So they decided, let's make a New Year's instead, but here, all these years later, who cares? So it's Halloween. Happy Halloween. Great. And a few twists here and there. Some additional stuff to the plot. Like, we have this whole kind of, I don't know if it's trying to draw some modern day comparisons, but there's like this whole kind of subplot about the president of the frat, and how these two dudes are kind of at odds with each other because they, one of them believes Doc, the character Doc, Matthias Garrido, from Letterkenny, by the way, so very much Canadian production. He believes there was, foul play with the election. It's so stupid thing. But it has pretty much no consequence. It still plays out pretty much the same. However, when we do get to the ending, there's a little bit of a twist. But the same kind of basic premise, where we have the beginning with the prank, goes wrong, makes the poor, Kenny character go nuts, and we see the results of that, basically. But there's kind of a twist to it at the very end. So I'll give them some credit for that, for at least kind of giving a wink and a nod to those who've seen the original, saying, hey, we're doing something a little bit different here, so, give us some credit. But, I mean, other than that, it's the last time, the last review, the Terror Train review, which I had up, I posed the question, well, if it weren't for Jamie Lee Curtis, would people appreciate the movie quite as much? And I guess this movie is the answer, and I guess the answer is probably not, especially in a modern lens, where, I mean, this isn't like we're not talking Halloween remake territory here. We're talking Terror Train direct to streaming, direct to free streaming with ads quality here. So if that's what you can imagine, it's exactly it. So I mean, I don't necessarily regret watching it, but it's you got to go in with certain expectations, and that it's not that high quality of a movie, but it's somewhat entertaining. I mean, it's tolerable. I've gotten a little bit of a cold over the past couple of days, so I've been just staying in bed watching some movies, and this was a good time killer. Something I didn't really have to pay too much attention to, so there's that. But hopefully I can finish out this month. Hopefully. That's my review, Terror Train 2022 edition. Thank you for watching. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Stay tuned for more as we head into the ending of the month. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until next time, stay scared.